All right, Charlie Vann here with LFA flyweight champion Jimmy Flick. Jimmy, thank you for joining me here tonight. And I know you have big news. Why don't you tell the people what you got going on?
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me on, man. Coming off that win off the LFA title in 38 seconds. It's your second fastest win in LFA title history. I was pretty excited about that. And we fast forward to about 2 weeks later, and we got the call to step in on the Tuesday Night Contender Series, September 1st.
And you're taking on undefeated Nate Smith. Talk about that matchup. What intrigues you the most?
His O's got to go, man. Like Fisher was never finished. I finished him. Now I'm fighting an undefeated guy, and like I said, his O's got to go. He's a world-class wrestler. He's a junior Olympian. Feel like he hasn't fought the caliber of opponents I've fought, but he is a world-class wrestler, so we're not going to take that away from him. But we're super excited for this fight, and we couldn't pass up this opportunity.
Both of you have ended your last fights via submission. Are you also very intrigued by that grappling exchange? Do you feel like it'll be a chess match if it goes to the ground?
Oh, yeah, I'm super excited for it. As a professional MMA fighter, I've never been taken down. I've been on my back from shooting in and pulling guard against Johnny Bedford and Levi Mouse. I've also threw a couple of head kicks and fell on my back and winded up on my back. But as for anybody actually taking me down, it's never happened. And I'm excited to see what his game plan is and see if he wants to go to the ground or if he wants to stay standing. I've been working on my stand-up. I've been working on the ground. We've been doing it all. That's why we're the brick, baby. We're solid all over. Now,
right before we started, because we had a little connection issue, you had mentioned that you got that call. It's been 9 days. It's 9 days since your last fight. So when did you officially get that call to take on Nate Smith?
Monday. We got that call Monday. We're exactly 2 weeks out. Tomorrow will be 2 weeks out from my last fight. But we got the call Monday. I was at the gym doing some light work because we knew we needed to stay in the gym, stay ready for whatever comes. And they asked if I wanted to fight him September 1st on the Tuesday Night Contenders. So we signed that contract and got it back ASAP.
And you got to be still riding on that high, winning that title. Now you're getting a chance on the Contender Series. I know, you maybe wanted to jump right into the UFC, but this is still a huge opportunity to show Dana White that you belong in that flyweight division. So what is just going through your mind right now about that?
Yeah, it's a lot different. Most of the fights, when we show up, we fight. We get a fight. We want to win. We want to do good. But now it's different stipulations with Dana White being cage side. Dana White, the one handing out the contract. So you got to make Dana White happy. For my long time, all I've done is make my bosses happy at my jobs. So that's what I want to do. I want to show up at the Tuesday Night Contender, and I want to make Dana happy, and I want to make him my boss.
Well, I want to go back. You fought on that LFA card 9 days ago. No fans. There's not going to be fans, of course, right now with the Contender Series, which usually it's like friends and family normally, so smaller crowd. Do you feel you've got that experience now? And talk about making that walkout in LFA with no fans because you're used to packed crowds.
Yeah, it was different for sure. But growing up, wrestling my whole life, I've been in the wrestling room, in the gauntlet room, wrestling it out with guys for the number one spot on the team. And there's nobody in there, it's you and the coaches. And I've got a lot of experience.
Those challenge matches, by the way, those old school. Yeah. Yeah.
So, I've been doing that my whole life. I imagine my opponent has as well. So I feel like when it comes to, two guys like us with our background, either way, we know we're going out there, we're going to go punch each other in the mouth, and we're trying to make our boss happy.
Well, going back to that fight with Greg Fisher, because I keep watching that highlight over and over. I mean, what a quick transition. It wasn't a very long fight, but you were right from the get-go, tacking that leg, getting that takedown. It looked like you're almost going transitions back, but then you hit that head and arm. Talk about that transition, because you don't always see fighters do that, go the way, that angle that it was. Break down that technique.
Yeah, man, I'm a wrestler by heart, but I turned into a grappler. If you check out my amateur fights and you check out my professional fights, all you see is submission, 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 and it goes on. And that's because I like to finish fights. Doesn't always have to be by submission. I like to ground and pound. I like to stand up. But the faster the fight's over, the faster I get paid, the faster I get to go home. So I like to get in there. I like to get to work. With this fight, when I took him down, I was actually going to fall to my back. Hang on, there we go. My phone was dying.
No, that's okay.
Fall to my back when I hit the head and arm, and I like to do a sweep from there. And he tried to roll out. When he tried to roll out, it just rolled me right over to the other side, and we were good to go. We got that submission in 38 seconds.
Is that something you always get in practice as well, or you like to utilize? And where do you feel like some people kind of maybe go wrong, like some advice if somebody's like, man, I saw that Jimmy fight, I want to do that, or I'm missing this step. What's your advice to an upcoming fighter or grappler?
Well, see, we're always taught positioned before submission, you know? So a lot of people like to keep that position before they go for a submission. I'm a little different than most, you know, because I'm comfortable off of my back. So since I'm so comfortable off of my back, I don't care where the fight goes. So I like I said, it's killed or be killed in there for me. So I'm trying to kill them as quick as possible. Like I feel like they're trying to kill me. So anytime I get a chance to think I can finish, I'm going to try to finish. And that's what I do.
And talk about your evolution now as a fighter. Of course, you have the LFA title back from when you fought Humberto De Leon back in 2010. Just talk about that journey for Jimmy the Brick Flick.
Oh, yeah. Humberto De Leon, they brought me in to lose to him in Bellator 20. I was 0-0. Humberto was 6-2. He was coming off of a unanimous decision loss to Johnny Bedford. So he had a lot of experience. He was undefeated at flyweight, which is 125 pounds. They brought me in to lose to him, and I dominated him by a unanimous decision. I went on to fight another guy that was 4-3. And then we turned around and fought Humberto again for the IXFA 125 title. That was my first pro title. And I beat him up by a unanimous decision again. He's the only pro fighter I've never finished out of my 14 pro wins. So he's a tough dude. He always been a tough dude. And it was great to fight with him early in my career, especially, like I said, Bellator 20. I'm Bellator 240-something, I believe. And I fought in Bellator 20. I was the first flyweight fighter to fight in Bellator. So it's been a long journey, man, and I'm glad that I'm where I'm at now.
Well, and this fight will be coming up, your third fight for the year. You fought right before quarantine happened. Were you a little nervous that, man, this could be it for the year, just the way things going? Or right when you saw the UFC happen May 9th, you're like, okay, well, there may be light at the end of the tunnel for us fighters?
Yeah, man, I fought February 29th, a leap year, man, this year. So that's pretty cool. I fought on leap year. And then the week after that is when LFA had their last show on like March 6th or something. So when LFA started fading off, yeah, it got us worried. And then the UFC came back, and I was hoping to maybe rally for the UFC, but I wasn't on a big enough win streak. I was coming off of a big fight, a big win, but I didn't have enough win streak going. That's why I needed to win this title here. So I was super excited when LFA came back. I was trying to fight on that July 10th card because I was ready to go. I wanted to stay busy and keep my momentum going. I got 2 titles already in 2020, and now we're heading into the Tuesday Night Contender Series. So I feel 2020 is my year, even with this pandemic going.
And what is your prediction for this fight?
My prediction is always to get the finish. I never like to go to the judges. I went to the judges in Albuquerque, New Mexico, took the guy down every round. You can watch it on UFC Fight Pass. It was for King of the Cage. And I feel I dominated every round, and I lost by unanimous decision. They put my record at 7-2. I was not happy about it, and ever since, it's been killed or be killed. I either finish my opponent or my opponent finishes me. I do not like going to the judges.
Now, never looking ahead, but, you know, you get that finish, you get that win, you get that contract. If you get that contract, do you want to keep going throughout the year or just kind of take a break since you've had 3 fights already?
It would be good to take a break, but I mean, with the momentum rolling, depending on how fast this fight goes, I mean, we got to keep it going.
Mm-hmm.
I'm staying in shape. I'm keeping my weight down, and the more I'm fighting, the more money I'm making, the less I can work, man. So that's great too, man. My job supports me. Tulsa Plastics, they sponsor me. They let me take off work. They let me take off hours to get my training in, to do my interviews, to do everything, man. So I really appreciate my job, and they opened the door up a lot for me to be able to do this. And if we can I'm going to stay active. I'm trying to get that Brandon Royval fight, man. I got the second fastest win in LFA history behind that fool, dude. So he beat me there, and he was the last LFA champ at 125. I want that fight. So hopefully I go win this fight, dude. He's scheduled to fight. Maybe if that fight don't happen, maybe if his opponent gets hurt, maybe I step in and I get the fight I've been wanting.
And what do you think about overall the current UFC flyweight picture? Obviously, there's a new champion there with Davison Figueiredo. What do you think about him and some of the up and coming contenders there?
Oh, it's stacked for sure. I mean, you got Tim Elliott just barely in the top 15 now after losing to Brandon Royval. You got Brandon Royval in there. That's the LFA champ, ranked at number 11. We have Brandon Morono, however you say his last name. He's in the top 5 now, coming off after he won the LFA title after being cut from the UFC. You got the Russian in there. Can't remember his name. And then you got Figueroa, or however you say his name. And that guy's just a beast. He's a monster. And I think he just scares too many of these fighters away. He gets mean and aggressive with them. That's why I'm so glad that I've been in this sport for a decade. Because by the time I get there, I know I'm ready. I'm already ready. I've went through these wars. I had Johnny Bedford try to make me bow down to him like, he does these guys in bare knuckles, man. I'm in this fight for a reason. I love to fight. I feel confident when I fight, and it's what I do. I don't go in there because I'm scared of anybody. I'm not going to be scared of nobody. And I fight at the flyweight division now. I plan on staying there. I fought a lot of big guys at 135. And including Chris Gutierrez that just fought in the UFC, Ray Rodriguez that was on the Tuesday Night Contender show, Johnny Bedford, Levi Miles. I fought some big 135ers, so I'm very comfortable fighting at flyweight, and I can't wait, man, to go pick up this win and hopefully get my shot at the UFC.
Now, will you go out to Vegas early?
I'm waiting on them to let me know, but I'm pretty sure I do have to fly out there and do some promo videos and all that stuff. And like I said, my job, Tulsa Plastics, is on board. They're already set up, ready for me to go whenever I got to go, man. So we're ready.
And how is, with everything going on, has it affected your school, your academy, your gym at all? I mean, have you been training just more one-on-one during this time?
A couple months ago, when it first started happening in, let's say, late March, early April, my job actually reached out to me and asked me not to train because we had so many people that were high risk at my job because we have older people. And then my gym shut down, both my gyms, because I train at Forza Combat Sports and Thunder Kick Tulsa. And we were both shut down for a little bit. But my gym out in Broken Arrow opened up a lot sooner. I also have a gym at my father-in-law's house where we all live on the same land. So I'm always getting road work in out here in the country. And I got my own little gym to go get my bag work. So I stayed busy. I stayed active. But quarantine did have me up to like 155 pounds, which is pretty big for me. I usually walk around 145 to 142. That's why I don't like fighting at 135. So, but everything's good now, man. Everything's opened back up. So hopefully we don't have nothing else break out again. But it's awesome in 20 years that I'm going to be able to talk about this pandemic, talk about flying out to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, fighting for LFA with no fans, and then shortly turning around and heading out to Las Vegas to fight in the Apex Arena. So it's freaking awesome, man.
Well, like we were saying a second ago, you might not have had a whole lot of downtime to get to like celebrate. But when this is all said and done, what do you normally like to do during your downtime? When you do get some downtime?
I like to hang out with my friends and family, I don't get to go out and party a lot or, go do all the drinking and stuff. I'm not real big on it, but it seems to happen all the time when I get a fight. I get a fight and we have the get-togethers and everybody wants to do that. And I'm very mentally tough when it comes to this stuff. And I won't drink beer. I won't party. I won't do any of that stuff. So it's just the only thing I miss is just, enjoying time with my wife and my kids and friends and family. Outside of that, man, I'm going to have a lot of time to make up to doing that when I get older. So I'm only 29 years old. I'm coming up on 30. Feel like I'm at the prime of my career. So feel like the time is now.
Do you have, you were talking about like during quarantine a little bit, getting up to 155. Do you have like a favorite go-to meal, cheat meal? Like when you're not training or just like, oh, I'm going to give myself this one meal this week.
Oh yeah, I love pizza and I love cereal. Pizza and
Those are good
cereal,
combos.
yes, they're my favorite. And I love pop. We call it pop here in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Some people call it soda. But my 2020 goals this year, I had two of them, and it was to make the UFC and not to drink pop. So I haven't drank pop since December of last
Oh,
year.
there you go.
And we got 2 wins, and we're on the Tuesday night contender. So I'm closing in on that second one. So if everything goes good, come 2021, I'll have my first pop.
Are you Coca-Cola, Pepsi, what or Coke Zero?
Dr. Pepper,
Dr.
baby.
Pepper. Well, here in Texas, yeah, that's a strong one as well. That is a lot of people's go-to. You mentioned pizza. How about this debate right here? Pineapple or no pineapple?
No pineapple. You're talking to one of the pickiest eaters in the world.
Are you just pepperoni cheese?
Oh yeah, I love pepperoni cheese. Maybe some bacon, sausage every now and then, but I'm a pepperoni guy for sure.
That's what I had Jeff Neal on, and I was like, you get extreme with it at all of interest? He's like, no, just pepperoni. But you can't go wrong with pepperoni. Are you thin crust or regular?
Oh, original all day.
Original all day. And how is Tulsa, by the way, going on? I know that you were saying some things are open up. I mean, how are the restaurants? We're talking food right here, so I have to ask, how's the atmosphere there going?
It's pretty good. They're not at full capacity, so they got to spread it out. Some places are making you wear the mask or recommending you wear the mask. So we see a lot of people wearing the mask a lot now. I don't know what places are mandatory. I believe they said Walmart up here is mandatory. But Walmart's been closing at like 7:30 or 8:30, like super early. And they're actually moving to 10 p.m. tomorrow. So I feel things are getting better and starting to open up more. Like I said, up here in Oklahoma, we're pretty much open back up. They're just recommending everybody wear the mask.
Is there a go-to place like restaurant or that after your fight, or place that you always go, like maybe an after party or just like after celebration?
Yeah, we usually have the after parties at the office on Main in Sand Springs. It's a sponsor of mine, or at the Sand Springs Elks Lodge. Both of them had watch parties that were packed for my fight. I really appreciate their support. They had so many people up here. I got videos sent to me of everybody going crazy, at the watch parties. And I like to go get me some Mexican food and a margarita, when me and the wife come back home, go get me one of the margaritas with the Corona upside down in it. Give me some cheese dip, give me some chimichangas. Yeah.
That's a feast right there. That is a
Yes,
feast. Well, that's got to be always cool too. I've always like when looking at fight, especially MMA, the small business is the involvement there from restaurants to bars, to even plumbing companies. Just talk about having those kind of connections in that, and how those businesses have helped, like you felt like back you as a fighter.
Yeah, I got a lot of them. Like you said, I got All Britain Plumbing that sponsors me. I got Evolved Health, which is a doctor's office. I got Midwest Extract, the Plug 918, Harvest Health. Up here in Oklahoma, dispensaries are real big right now, and they're my biggest sponsors, man. They really take care of me. They provide for me to advertise them. I'm very good at advertisement. That's what fighters should do. I mean, social media is free advertisement, and these fighters don't do it enough. So all these little local sponsors, Ryan and Rose Roofing, they all take great care of me, and I would take these little sponsors taking care of me over time than a big one trying to swoop in and offer me a bunch of money out of nowhere just because now I'm making it. So I'll always represent these little sponsors. I even represent Fighting for Autism. My buddy Jeremy White, his boy's autistic, and he started paying me out of his own pocket just to support Fighting for Autism. I became an official ambassador for Fighting for Autism. So all these people, the little companies, everything, they mean so much to me and as fighters, and they help so much.
Well, and finally, also, you're there in Tulsa, and I've always heard about the Tulsa music scene. And are there any artists there that you like to listen to that you want to support?
No, man, honestly, we do have a lot of music up here, and but I'm not a music guy,
You're
man.
not a music guy? Is it
I
hard for walkout music, or do you always have a hard time choosing what you're going to walk out to?
see the LFA fight, man. I didn't even pick my music because I like to come out to Scatman John's skitty doo doo dop 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 dop. A lot of people don't know that song. It's a little odd. I heard it on a movie a long time ago, and it just gets me moving. But when I go for runs and stuff, I don't run with music.
Really?
I don't. Yeah, I like to think, be in my head, and mentally thinking about stuff constantly. Even sometimes when I'm driving in my truck, I don't have the radio on. I'm not a big music person. I can't tell you about who sings what or anything. One of the very few people that probably don't deal with music very often. I support it and I'll listen to it occasionally, but when it comes out to walking out, I could walk out to anything. It doesn't matter, and I'm going to be in the zone regardless.
So September 1st won't feel weird at all for you walking out to no music.
No, not at all. I noticed that Tuesday that they walked out to no music, and like I said, for the LFA fight, they played what was it, like a Beatles song or something. Everybody was like, "Jimmy, did you pick that song?" There's no way, because people that know me know I don't know a lot about music. And LFA picked it, and they were like, "Well, that was a good song." And I was like, "Yeah, it's pretty good, man."
You just got to take credit for it.
Yeah. So.
Well, and finally, one more thing. I want to get your thoughts on the UFC event next weekend, Stipe Miocic versus DC3. Who do you have in that one, and how do you think it's going to end?
Man, that's a tough one right there, because the first fight, DC knocked him out. Second fight, DC got tired and got finished, So my heart's with DC, man. But as hard as Stipe trains and everything he goes through, and him being a firefighter, I like them both. But I feel like whoever wins, it's going to go to a decision this time. I feel like it's going to be a decision. But hopefully it's a unanimous decision, not a split decision, because that'll kind of fuck up a trilogy. So I really hope that whoever does win wins in good fashion or a dominant fashion.
And then also on that card, you mentioned 135 a little bit ago. We're going to see Chito Vera versus Sean O'Malley. That's a much anticipated matchup. How do you think that one goes down?
Man, that's an awesome one. I hope Chico or what's his name?
Marlon Chito Rivera. Or
yeah,
Vera. Vera.
I hope he comes in with the pressure, man. I think if he puts the pressure on him and lets O'Malley get all flashy for a little bit, I think O'Malley might get tired, not be able to finish him. Dude's tough, man. He's tough. And I really think he's going to beat Sean O'Malley, man. I think it's Sean O'Malley's toughest match. I think O'Malley's overlooking him too. And Homeboy's coming off of a split decision loss that I feel like he won. Mm-hmm. I don't remember who it was versus, but I know it was a very close fight, and I thought he won it. And I know he lost to the decision, but I'm excited about that fight. I think it's an awesome fight to kick off the pay-per-view as well.
They both have that similar length, that kind of lankiness, that reach. So that's going to be interesting, especially on the feet. But the big question mark when it gets to the ground, and Vera is very slick with his submissions.
Yes, if he could take him down, but you don't see him wrestle a lot. So I don't know if he'll try to wrestle with O'Malley, but it would be smart. I think he should let O'Malley come out aggressive, doing some flashy stuff in round one, and then push the pace. And, if he could get it to the ground, I feel like he'd be very dominant.
Well, Jimmy, I want to thank you again for taking your time. Where can people find you on social media, and anything you want to say before we go?
Yes, man. If you can follow my fan page at Jimmy the Brick Flick, or you can just type in www.thebrickmma.com and it'll take you straight there. I don't have no more friend requests available on my on my actual personal Facebook, so I'm trying to get everybody over to my fan page. I'm almost to 3,000 followers. You can also follow me on Twitter at Jimmy Flick, and then on Instagram at _brick_MMA. I just want to say thanks to all my sponsors for all the support. I appreciate all y'all. I can't thank y'all enough. And we got big things coming. 2020 is my year, baby.